A lot of girls with ADHD don't look like what people expect. They're not disruptive. They're not getting in trouble. In fact, many of them look like they're doing just fine, and that's exactly why they get missed. From the outside, it looks like things are easy, but underneath, that doing fine is built on effort, anxiety, and overcompensation, not ease. She's holding everything together by sheer mental energy. And when a child has to work that hard just to function, that's not thriving, that's coping. And coping quietly is one of the main reasons ADHD in girls goes unnoticed for so long. In this video, I'm going to show you what ADHD in girls looks like when it doesn't match the stereotype, the subtle signs parents and teachers tend to overlook, and why so many girls carry the struggle quietly for years before anyone realizes what's really going on. At school and at home, kids tend to get sorted. There are the kids who clearly need support. They're disruptive, falling behind, grabbing attention. And then there are the kids who seem fine. They're polite, their grades are okay or even good. They're not setting off alarms. Sometimes this can be boys too. So they get placed into a quiet mental folder labeled doing fine. And that's where a lot of girls with ADHD live. Not because they don't struggle, but because their struggle doesn't disrupt anyone else. Their ADHD is often less externally visible. So instead of noticing difficulty, we notice compliance. Instead of noticing effort, we assume ease. This matters because what looks like responsibility on the outside is often hiding exhaustion on the inside. And that brings us to one of the biggest reasons ADHD in girls goes unnoticed. Many girls with ADHD are deeply conscientious. They care about doing things right. They follow rules. They worry about meeting expectations. So on the outside, adults see a child who's motivated and responsible. But here's the part that often gets missed. That conscientiousness isn't coming from things being easy. It's coming from effort. Tasks like starting homework, keeping track of materials, or remembering the instructions are taking far more mental energy than they should. She's holding everything in her head because she doesn't trust it to stay there. Adults see motivation, but what they don't see is the exhaustion. The cost shows up later as anxiety, perfectionism, or burnout. When people picture ADHD, they often picture disruption. But many girls with ADHD do talk a lot, just not in ways that get them in trouble. They're chatty, enthusiastic, social. They interrupt or blurt, but in friendly, relational ways. So instead of seeing impulsivity, adults see personality. What's actually happening is difficulty with inhibition and self-regulation. Thoughts come fast when you have ADHD, and talking helps regulate attention. Some girls manage restlessness through movement, just quietly, bathroom breaks, helping the teacher, getting up for approved reasons, because it doesn't derail the classroom. It rarely gets flagged, even though it's serving the same purpose as more obvious ADHD behavior. Another way ADHD hides in girls is through help seeking. Many girls with ADHD raise their hand, ask clarifying questions, and check in with adults to make sure they're doing things right. On the surface, this looks like engagement, and sometimes it is. But often, asking for help is a compensation strategy. Long-term projects, time awareness, and multi-step directions are especially hard. so the panic hits late. Instead of acting out or shutting down, she asks for help. The adult steps in, the assignment gets done. From the outside, it looks like a success, but the executive function work, planning, sequencing, starting, is happening at the last minute and outside of her brain. And because she asks for help instead of melting down, the ADHD underneath never fully shows itself. And when a child learns that being careful, prepared, and compliant keeps things from falling apart, perfectionism often becomes the next layer of protection. Perfectionism is another sign that often gets praised instead of questioned. Many girls with ADHD over-prepare, over-check, and spend far more time on tasks than other students because mistakes feel especially costly to them. When planning, organization, and time management don't come easily, being perfect can feel safer than being flexible. So girls control what they can. They rewrite, they double check, they aim for just right. On the outside, this can look like high standards, but underneath, it's a way to prevent things from falling apart. But perfectionism like this isn't free. It's exhausting. And when the workload increases or perfection isn't possible, many girls either burn out or start avoiding these kind of tasks. This next sign is one of the most confusing for adults. A girl with ADHD may do really well in some classes with some teachers or during certain weeks and then struggle significantly in others. From the outside, this inconsistency often gets interpreted as effort. She can do it when she wants to. But what's actually driving the inconsistency isn't her motivation. It's the context. It's what's happening in the environment. Executive function skills are highly sensitive to structure, clarity, reminders, interest, and emotional load. When support is built in, she looks capable. But if that support disappears, everything gets harder. And because girls often compensate well when help is available, adults don't always notice how much their help or scaffolding is carrying them. And over time, this inconsistency quietly erodes their confidence. Many girls don't think, I need support. They think, why can't I do this all the time? And when a child keeps blaming herself for those ups and downs, the cost often shows up emotionally. Sometimes the first sign isn't something wrong at school. It may be tears after school, the emotional crash in the evening, the child who looks fine all day and then falls apart once she's safe. That's often where parents start to worry. Not because things are suddenly worse, but because the effort finally starts to show. And this is where anxiety so often enters the picture. If that sounds familiar, my next video, ADHD and Anxiety, What Every Parent Needs to Know, will be perfect for you. I'll walk you through how these two overlap, how they're different, and how to tell what's actually driving what, so you're not left guessing. Click right here to watch that next.